So in this video, I want to walk you through the process of preparing to create a design, whether it's for your website or a brochure or for an app. You're really thinking about who your end user is. And so I'm going to walk you through the process I use when I'm creating a new design. In this case, it's going to be a website design. So when I start working with clients and I create what's called a stylescape. So this is a stylescape example. And for this particular client, I created two. I always create two so we can kind of understand kind of a comparison. And the way I do that is to look at the top two types of people that you would be targeting with your marketing. So if we're designing a website for your business, who are the top two optimal visitors to your website? Who would they be? And I'm looking for what's called the psychographics. So I'm looking for demographics, but also psychographics. So demographics are their age, where they live, their location, are they parents, that kind of thing. Psychographics are more about what they're interested in. Where do they shop? What do they do on the weekends? What do they do when they go on holiday? That kind of stuff. So really I'm trying to put together two different character profiles so that I can understand who we're talking to when we finally get to the point of designing the site. If we would just start off designing without thinking this through, you could just randomly pick some colors and make things look pretty, but they're looking pretty for you as the designer or for the client, but you actually don't know if it's what would appeal to your end user and truly make a connection with them. So that's the importance of creating these stylescapes. And so I just want to show you an example. So in this case, one of the target avatars or target users that we were speaking to was a guy in most cases, and his kind of mid to early to mid 30s. And he's a guy that is, in this case, he was an entrepreneur, like a startup founder. And he's kind of in a fast-paced life, but yet he loves having fun with his friends on the weekend. He travels from time to time. He likes camping. He likes eating. He likes, being conscious of where his food comes from. He might have a pet of some sort. And he's really looking to, make his place in the world by making the world a better place. That's the first avatar. The second avatar would be a guy in about a decade older, in his mid 40s. And in this case, in this particular avatar, he's already been in business for, say, 10 years. And he's someone that's got a family, and he's really looking to try to get to a point in his business where he can walk away at, say, age 50 and kind of retire and take it easier so he can travel the world and do all the things that he hasn't gotten to do because he's been working so hard for the last decade. And so he's also interested in shopping and getting food that is good for his body. He's nutritious and health conscious. He dresses well. He's had a company for many years. He goes on family vacations. So we've kind of got an idea of who these two guys are. And you can notice the color schemes. Like there's some golds and some yellows, some greens and blues in this, for instance. And in this one, there's some darker blues, again, a green and some gold, but it's a slightly different blue. So we're comparing the two to each other, and you can start to see how the design can formulate out of the colors, at least, out of this. And you can also look at the fonts that are kind of resonating with this guy. If you think about the brands he buys, you might be able to start to glean some fonts to use or some typefaces to use in the design as well. And again, I'm speaking a bit about design, so this might be appropriate for designers, but it's also appropriate if you're someone that's hiring a designer to really help to shape the vision of what you're creating. And then out of those two stylescapes, we come up with a flow map or user flow map. Now, this is a little bit more like a wireframe, so we're walking through the flow of the site. But when you have this in combination with the two stylescapes, you really start to put together how this is going to flow, what that type of person is looking for. Say when they come to your homepage, what are they looking for? What are the calls to action? Where are they going to go from there? And then what's the next step? And then the final step to nurture them as a lead on your website. And so you're taking this wireframe of this map and then your two stylescapes together. And then that starts to inform what you have on the homepage, what type of photos or imagery you're using, what type of typefaces you're using, and what kind of offer is going to appeal to them to say opt in to get something to join your mailing list or to contact you in some way. In this case, we're using a focus tool because each of these avatars is so busy in their life and their fast pace of building their businesses that one of the frustrations they have is they can't focus long enough to really dive deep and work in their business or work on their business because they're working always in their business. So a focus tool is what became kind of obvious as an offering. It also sounds more exciting than, say, a quick PDF download. And so this focus tool, and then the other thing is going to be a white paper that we're creating that's going to be targeted for this specific type of user. And then we have other offerings out of that. But this then begins to inform the final design. And so as an idea, I go from this step then to making 2 mock-ups of a homepage that are slightly different. So again, we can compare them and start to see what stands out for the particular users. And so I'll show you an example here now of the design that came out of this. So with that in mind, now we have one of the mockups of several mockups. I usually have 2, but this is one of the mockups then that is designed for those 2 types of users. And we're looking at, again, see, notice the blues that are in here, the outdoor nature photo, which responds to like what the guy likes to do on the weekends in his free time. He dreams about trips, road trips, camping trips with his friends, that kind of thing. And we're using the colors that we think would stand out to those particular 2 avatars, which are kind of like black and white and blues. And then we're choosing a lot of nature photos for the blog imagery, and some icons to make it look more clean, to kind of clean it up a bit and to show the systematic nature of what we're offering here rather than just being all a bunch of photos and looking just like a blog. So that gives you a sense of my process for how I start to create the design given the type of user that we were going to be targeting with the design in the end. And that really helps to optimize so that you really make a connection with your target users straight away rather than just coming up with a design that looks cool and that you think that, oh, it looks good enough, sure, like that'll work. But actually you really need to kind of consider who you're speaking to because it can look very different for a different type of person. For instance, if we were targeting a woman, age, say 50, we'd probably have a design that looks very, very different from what you saw before. So it helps you to make these considerations and to think about it first to start off with your stylescapes and a wireframe and then get to the stage of making your designs. I hope this helped. If you have any questions or if you think you want to add a comment to anything I've shared here, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And thumbs up if you liked it. I really appreciate knowing whether these kind of videos are useful or not. And thank you for watching.